We'd like to start out by thanking our valuable sponsors. Sense of Satisfaction by Cricket is the place for all your fragrance needs. Plus, she's got products to heal what ails your skin and your hair. Shop at scentsbycricket.com. Special thanks to our valued sponsor, John Travis, a financial coach and certified Kingdom advisor with Richard Young Associates, a registered investment advisor. Thanks goes to Anna Patterson, my sister in the Lord who faithfully gives to this ministry every month. And to our newest sponsor, LaToya Gerard of Preach the Word Worldwide Network. She is a valued sponsor and a major encourager regarding this ministry. We need and would love to have you as a sponsor. Absolutely no gift is too small. Please note the info regarding giving throughout and at the end of the show, and help us spread these testimonies around the world. Please note that the views and opinions expressed on this show are not necessarily the viewpoints of our sponsors. It's time to hear the story, make the connection, learn the lesson, and gain the wisdom. Are you ready? Let's get charged and be changed. The Sister Speak Brother Break Show. Conversations on grace, healing, and deliverance. This is Marcy Bush. Come on, let's journey together. Hello, and thank you for joining us for the Sister Speak Brother Break Show. Today I have another special guest. Leslie is somebody that I have known for a long time. However, we haven't been in contact for quite a while except through social media. I have seen her and been able to experience parts of her journey. Our guest today is Leslie Foreman, and Leslie is going to talk to us about, kind of an isolated part of her journey, as isolated as it can be, because I'm sure it has affected a whole lot. So what Leslie's going to talk to us today about is her journey through lupus. So Leslie, we thank you so much for joining us. Like I said, I have been able to follow your journey somewhat on Facebook and just admire your strength, your tenacity, your courage. And I know that it seems like, as far as what I've experienced, that I'm finding out about more and more people who have been diagnosed with lupus, but I still don't know some of the intricacies and details. I feel that just getting information out would maybe help some people be diagnosed that don't know what's going on with them, and then would give some clarity, some insight, some wisdom to people who have lupus survivors in their lives, so that we know how to better interact and how to better support those people in our lives who have it. So that's kind of where we're going today, and I just want to thank you again for being willing to sit down with us and talk.
Thank you.
So tell us a little bit about your journey. Like I said, we're going to kind of stay in the lupus sector. So how old were you when you were diagnosed?
I was 28.
Okay. And what were some of the things that led to you going to the doctor to find out what was going on?
Very fatigued.
Okay.
I was very fatigued and nausea on my stomach. I couldn't eat anything. I couldn't even smell food. I would get nausea.
Okay. And were you working then?
Yes. I was working at SRS. I had got laid off. I was working at nursing home as a CNA.
Okay. And so what are some of those first, like how long did it go before you were like, I got to see what's wrong?
About a couple of weeks, because I was working at nursing home, so I thought my fatigue was coming from working at nursing home. So I just kind of ignored it. And then one weekend I worked a weekend, and I went home after work, and I said, oh, I'm so fatigued. I fell asleep with my clothes on. Mm-hmm. I didn't wake up till the next morning.
Oh, wow.
So I had to call my mom. She had moved to Williston. Mm-hmm. I said, Mom, something wrong.
Okay.
Something definitely wrong. Mm-hmm. So then we went to Aiken Regional.
Okay. You went to the ER? Or?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
ER.
So that had to be very unlike you.
Yes.
Okay.
It was very unlike me.
So before that, were you really energetic? Or would you say?
Yes, I was the 28-year-old living my best life. I had brought her home, working on the job, single.
Right,
no kids.
right.
Yes.
Okay. And then, so did the nausea start then? Had you noticed the nausea then, or it came later?
Before, yeah, then.
Okay. So you were also nauseated.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I was losing weight.
Gotcha.
Just like, I couldn't eat nothing.
Okay. And so when you went to the ER, what did they say?
They they first run a test, think you're pregnant. Mm-hmm. So they run tests, see if I was pregnant, which I wasn't. Then they start running HIV tests, different little tests, and they couldn't find nothing, so they admitted me in the hospital.
Okay. Well, I'm surprised that's good that they did, but I'm surprised that they didn't just tell you, okay, you'll need to see your general practitioner.
They took my blood work. They said something was my white.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So your blood count is what gave them an indicator. So what goes on with the blood count? Is it red blood cells, white blood cells?
Okay. Low. Mm-hmm.
Low? Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. And is there, because I'm trying to think, because I do have another, like I said, I have a few people in my life who've been diagnosed with lupus. So isn't there another number that tends to fluctuate too in the blood count? Is it the platelets?
Yes.
Okay.
The platelets can get low.
Okay.
Hemoglobin.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And so when you, they continued to do the tests and they finally came up with it, or did you have to wait?
No. When I stayed a week in Aiken Regional.
A week?
Yes, a
wow.
week. Run the test, this and that.
Okay.
They referred me to a specialist.
Mm-hmm.
And they thought I had leukemia, really. Mm-hmm. So then I went to a doctor, the doctor in Aiken, and I kept going to him. I kept losing weight. I kept losing weight, and my mother said, "Y'all having a test for lupus." My mother had lupus.
Okay.
They never tested me for lupus.
Okay.
So we was like...
Now, did your mom have the same type indicators as you?
Mm-mm.
Different symptoms?
Different. Hers wasn't bad.
Okay.
So we kept going to this doctor, so then my skin broke out bad.
Okay.
Because I have a rare kind of lupus, bullous.
Okay.
So I broke out in blisters. Mm. So he referred me to a dermatologist.
Okay.
And she sent me to MCG.
Okay.
That's how they did a biopsy on my skin, and that's when I...
Wow. So even after your mom talked about lupus, they still didn't... Wow. And so, again, this was a little over 20 years ago, right? Right. 21 years ago. Thank God, I believe there have been advances. Yes. But yeah, and a lot of times with the symptoms of lupus, they are so varied and so, they're widespread till a lot of times I feel like the doctors think, okay, this person's just making up all this stuff.
Right.
So when you went to MCG though, that you said they did a biopsy
on my skin.
Okay.
And then that's when they found out that I had lupus.
Okay.
And then they started doing all kinds of tests, and then it had affected my kidneys. I was in kidney failure.
Okay.
So they started doing chemotherapy.
Okay. Okay.
Medicine for my skin.
Okay. And see, I didn't even realize that they do chemo for with lupus. I didn't okay. I did not know that.
That's what I did chemo first. I did maybe 6 weeks.
Really? Now, did you ever have to do dialysis? Okay. So you did dialysis and chemo?
Not at the same time. Okay. I did chemo when I first had lupus, and dialysis came in 2015.
Really? Okay.
It was a long time before I did dialysis.
Okay. So just kind of, I guess, talk us through getting the diagnosis. Did it seem like double-edged, or was it, because I'm sure you were glad to have a name for it.
Right.
At the same time, like you said, your mom's lupus diagnosis, the symptoms were really different. So did it feel like, whew, thank you, Jesus, I know what, but then like, oh man.
Yeah, it felt like that. I was like, oh, I'm glad I know. But then there were so many problems. You know, I was like, I didn't know lupus was this serious. Because my mom had the discharge, so hers was like on her skin. But she worked, she did everything. She never was sick. So
okay. And maybe you can't tell me, maybe you don't know, but because your mom's was so mild, how did they even... how did they find out that she had lupus?
With her skin.
Okay.
I think they did a big biopsy too.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Her skin still wasn't bad as mine.
Okay. All right. So once you knew and you started chemo, how did all this like change your life?
Oh, it changed my life. I felt like I didn't have a life. As a young girl, you know, living on your own, going out with your friends.
Right.
You just got to hold on to God. You feel like all your life is gone.
Okay. Okay. Did your family, did they know and understand what was going on?
I had the best family.
Oh, that's good.
The best family.
Good.
If I didn't have my family, whew, I would have really gave up, because when I was like still having my chemo, my mom got sick, and she passed away.
Really? Okay. Okay.
So she was there with me at the beginning.
Yeah.
But
so how old were you when your mom passed?
28.
Oh, within the same year that
I got sick in August. She passed in March of the next year.
Oh, wow. Man. Oof. I cannot imagine.
Yeah, and I really got in a dark place.
Yeah.
The darkest place.
Okay. Okay. And so were you still living on your own at that time?
Yeah, well, I had moved with my aunt.
Okay.
I had left my house and went to stay with my aunt.
Okay.
I wanted to be with family.
Yeah, you needed to be. I can't even imagine. I can't imagine that. Wow. So what did that part look like, Leslie? Like,
I know you prayer.
Okay. Okay. And so your support system and God is what brought you through that time.
I was like, oh my God, what I did in my life to deserve all this at once. You know, I was like, I always did what my mom said, and it just was weird.
Yeah. Now, how long did you have to do chemo? You were doing the chemo while you were still at your aunt's house. How long did chemo go on?
Probably 6 months.
Okay. Okay. Man.
But like I said, my mom, she comes from a big family, so it was 12 of them.
Okay.
So I had a big support system. Yeah.
Good. Good. And close cousins, aunts, everything, and y'all kind of lived in proximity, close proximity to one another.
Everybody in the neighborhood.
Right.
Ken.
Yeah. Yep. And those that weren't probably felt like it.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, that's good. So once you started, so now work is out.
Yes.
Work is out.
That was disappointing too, because I was working since I was 16.
Really? Okay.
So I was like, oh, I want to work. I want to work. And you know, I couldn't go to work, and all these appointments and fatigue, and work was out.
Okay. At what point did you were you ever able to kind of integrate some other thing? Did your energy level begin to come up, or it was just, well, I know the chemo probably wiped out.
Energy level till I stopped the chemo.
Okay. And once you stopped chemo, you were able to see some difference in your... Okay. How long did it take you to come out of that dark place?
It took me, I think, a couple of years.
Okay.
I gradually, because one day I was just sitting, I said, I was just sitting thinking, I said, my mom wouldn't want you. My mother was the type, she wanted me to live my life.
Yes.
So I said, I got to get out of this dark place. I got to do some stuff to make Leslie smile,
yes.
make me happy.
Yes.
And I'm surrounded with beautiful people. And
right.
I'm disabled, but I'm able to do a lot of things. And I'm just hindering myself. I stopped taking my medicine. I was making myself sick.
Okay.
In and out the hospital. It was terrible.
Okay. And what made you stop taking the medication?
I just wanted to be sick and go with my mom.
Okay. Gotcha. Was that day your turning point totally, or did anybody know you had stopped taking medicine? Okay.
I had to go to the hospital I had to stay in the hospital. Then the doctor said, we see she has been taking this, so she has been taking.
Okay.
Then my family,
You would go a long time without taking it?
Sometimes weeks.
Okay. But that was just as a result of that dark place that you were in. And then you say you just kind of had a meeting with yourself.
Yes, and God.
Yes, yes. And decided, okay, I got to do different. Did you incorporate your support system in that, or was it just a thing that you knew, I got to do it, and you turned it around? Or did you have people holding you accountable?
I did it myself.
Okay.
Because my mom had 2 daughters, and my sister she just had her first son. He was going to nursing school.
Okay.
So I was like, I got to help her.
Okay.
I was concentrating on that too.
Oh, see, that's good, because and I have found that over and over to be true. When you're in a depressed state, if you can ever, if you can ever take. But I have found that it is so amazing that when you decide to take the focus off of you and look at somebody else that you want to help, it's kind of like that why to keep going. And it's hard to pull somebody else up and help somebody else without you coming up too.
Exactly.
It's going to do something for you. And so you said, is it a niece or nephew? You said
my sister.
She had a child, right?
A son.
A son. Okay. And so you decided, she was in nursing school and you wanted to help.
I babysit. I played with the baby, get him dressed. He was just my light then.
Yes. It's amazing, because I have a friend who was planning to commit suicide. And then he decided, I'm going to wait until my brother's child is born. I want to see him, and then I'm going to end it. But when he went and saw that child, it changed his life.
Yes.
It changed his life, and that's been like 15, 16 years ago.
Yeah.
And so, number one, it shows how just another life, a child, can affect your life and give you something to go after. And it just shows, like I said, that light of helping someone else, that's great. So at that point, you were about how old? You remember? 30? Okay.
30.
Okay, and so that's when things started turning around for you.
Yes.
All right. But you said dialysis came much later. That was 2015. So you were 30. What year was that? Around what year was that?
I was 30. About 2001.
Okay.
2002.
Okay. So how did things go in between there? Was your life somewhat getting back to normal?
Yes, it was. But every year I used to get pneumonia.
Really?
For some reason, I always caught pneumonia.
Okay.
But I would bounce back from that.
Okay. Now, did you? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It was getting better.
Okay. Good. Did you ever start back working?
No.
Okay.
I had it took me 2 years to get my disability.
Okay.
Because the doctors were saying, you young, you could do this, you could do that. But my line of work that I was doing, I couldn't go back to.
Right. And it's sad that it takes so much for people to prove.
I had to get a lawyer.
Wow. Okay. And see, some people just don't have the tenacity, the strength, or the resources to do that.
But the thing was, I was so glad I had my family, so I didn't have to worry about house note, car note.
Yes,
I always had a helping hand. That was a blessing too. The stress could bring out your lupus bad.
Okay. And so even talking about that, I guess in this area it may help, like I said, family members or even people who are that's good. Church too.
Yeah.
And people who are dealing with lupus, it sounds like it is something that if you try to fight it alone.
Oh, you can't do it alone.
Okay. Okay.
I don't think so. I know not.
Right. And to try to do it is only going to make it worse.
Make you sicker.
Okay.
You're going to scratch yourself out.
Right. Because I know sometimes pride or even feeling like you're a burden will cause some people to back up and be quiet. But that's probably the worst thing they can do.
The worst thing.
Because then they're going to have to make up that deficit.
Right.
Or try to bounce back from that illness.
Yeah, get yourself in some support groups. I used to go to a support group.
Okay.
Or find yourself friends with lupus, understand what you're going through.
Right.
That helps.
Okay. Because I know, I can't imagine, I've thought about people, like I said that I see on social media even, who still do work or who, but a lot of times, I'm sure their bosses may not understand that yesterday they were perfectly fine. When they left work yesterday, they were laughing and talking, and now you calling in saying you can't come, So I'm sure it's hard for people who
don't have the support system. But a lot of people with lupus, they might think you lazy because you be fatigued a lot. But you just be fatigued.
Right.
You really do.
Right. Okay. And what would you suggest, and we're going to go back, into your specific journey, but I think this is a good time to talk about what do you suggest for family members? Let's say if there is a family member that has been diagnosed, you heard them say they have lupus, but you don't know a lot about it. What would you suggest to them would be some of the things to do to help that family member?
Talk to them or go take them to the doctor, find out more about it. And this help them on a daily basis.
Okay. So do some research.
Yeah.
And then just offer.
Yeah.
I know a lot of times, even with me, I'm guilty of life is going on. My life is going. And I'm feeling like, okay, if somebody need me, they'll holler.
Yes.
But I have to realize too, now sometimes you stop and offer.
Yes.
And I know for me that would probably be one of the biggest challenges because I feel like, well, they know if they need me.
Right.
But we have to reach out as well.
Right.
Correct? Okay.
Support system is so important.
Okay. It sounds like that is a major, and like I said, with people not knowing a lot about lupus, there's a lot of ignorance regarding that what is it called? I guess I'll just say that illness. So I know when we hear cancer, there's an immediate, wow. And people kind of, well, what do they need? Are they going to have chemo? Are they going to have radiation?
Right.
Do they have to have surgery? And people are kind of more hands-on.
Right.
With lupus, I think, like I said, that our society doesn't understand a lot about it.
Because a lot of people, like you said, don't look what they're going through. They might be working. They might be up, moving around, but lupus could be rough.
Yes. What are some of the other symptoms that you've experienced over the years besides the fatigue and the nausea?
My heart, I have a defibrillator.
Okay.
I had heart attacks.
Did you? How many heart attacks did you have? Really? How old were you? Do you remember your ages?
I just had them in 2017.
Really? So that was after the dialysis, because you said dialysis was 2015. So when did things kind of amp up again? Because if it was 2001 and you were helping your sister, and so things were kind of, even though you couldn't go back to work, things were manageable.
Right, 2015.
Okay, so that's the year when kind of everything went crazy.
Yeah, I had caught a bacterial infection or something, and I was hospitalized for 2 months.
Wow.
2 months. I spent my Christmas and New Year that year.
Really?
I thought I wouldn't come home that year.
Oh, wow.
I got down to 108 pounds. I lost my appetite again. It was just rough. All kind of medicine. And I started dialysis in the hospital.
Okay.
And then I got out and they gave me dialysis at a center for 3 months.
Really?
And that was that was God. Because most people that do dialysis, they stay on it for years.
Right. You're right.
I did 3 months.
Wow.
Then my face just started getting bigger and bigger.
Yes, you know? yes. So you are a living testimony.
Yes. So after that, I got my strength back up, and here, 2017.
Well, let me go back to 2015. So you said 2015, you get this bacterial infection, and how did that manifest? Did you just start feeling really bad again? So you went to the ER?
Yes.
Okay. And then you are put in the hospital. Were you in ICU, or did they put you on a regular?
I was in the regular room.
But for 2 months.
For 2 months.
Wow.
The thing was, I could talk. I could use the call light to help to the restroom, but I was in pain, but I really wasn't. You know what I'm saying? I felt bad, but.
So where does the pain hit? Is it an all over type thing?
See, my skin had broken out.
Okay.
And my skin was peeling.
Okay.
So it was like, my skin was like burning.
Okay. Okay.
It was just peeling and it was just burning. If you touched me, I would holler. I was taking morphine.
Okay.
To soothe it.
Okay. So, and again, it's so many different stories that I've heard of people. The symptoms are so wide, because I've never heard anybody talk about the burning skin or the, and I'm sure there are, and I probably know people.
You never heard anybody talk about the bullous lupus?
Nope, I had never heard about that. Now I've heard how it affects a lot of people's kidneys.
Thanks so much for joining us today. If you've been blessed by today's show, feel free to let us know. And if you'd like to sow into this ministry, become a sponsor, or contact us, you can reach us at 803-221-0169. Or you can email us at thessbbshow@gmail.com. Let's continue this journey together. We need and would love to have you as a sponsor. Absolutely no gift is too small. Please note the info regarding giving and help us spread these testimonies around the world.